Namaste. Okay, I'm gonna read the Bible before I do ASMR. There's power in old texts. Okay. Bamidbar, Numbers chapter 7. On the fourth day, the prince who brought his offering was of the tribe of Reuben, Elizur son of Shedeur. His offering was one silver bowl weighing 130 shekels, one silver dashing basin weighing 70 shekels, according to the value of the sacred shekel, both filled with fine flour mixed with oil as a grain offering, one gold spoon weighing 10 shekels filled with incense, one young bull, one ram, one lamb in its first year as a sin offering, one young he goat as a sin offering, and for the peace promoting feast offering, 2 bulls, 5 rams, 5 he goats, and 5 lambs in their first year. This was the offering of Elizur, son of Shedeur. Bamidbar, Numbers chapter 7. On the 5th day, the prince who brought his offering was of the tribe of Simeon, Shelumiel, son of Zerushadai. His offering was one silver bowl weighing 130 shekels, one silver dashing basin weighing 70 shekels according to the value of the sacred shekel, both filled with fine flour mixed with oil as a grain offering, one gold spoon weighing 10 shekels filled with incense, one young bull, one ram, one lamb in its first year as a sin offering, one young he goat as a sin offering, and for the peace promoting feast offering, 2 bulls, 5 rams, 5 he goats, and 5 lambs in their first year. This was the offering of Shalumiel, son of Jurishadai. Okay, that's it. So that was a portion. So let me take a little break here. Thank you. Okay, cool. I'm done taking a break. Alright, moving on. Oops. Alright, I'm not trying to advertise. Or am I? I'm doing free advertising for BibleGateway.com. You're welcome. Okay, here we go. If you're from BibleGateway.com, if you want my feedback, if you could like reverse the colors, have a dark background, have an option to have, or what is it called? The dark mode. Create a dark mode. Nowadays, it's needed for people. When you have paper, paper needed to be white so you could write things on it. If the paper was black, you can't really write anything on it. But now you have options of different colors. You make the background dark and foreground light instead of the other way around. I don't know, just a suggestion. Matthew chapter 25, I think. Why is it 24? Let me double check here. I'm gonna take a little a little more break. Take a little more. All he does is take a break. That's all he does. I just came in to listen to the Bible, and I know it is a devil. Like, he won't read the Bible. He just procrastinates. Liar. The devil. This is how the devil sets up the Bible studies. He pretends to read the Bible, invites people in, doesn't read the Bible. No, I'm checking something. Sorry. I'll read it in 1 minute. Okay, 24. Yeah, I was right. So why is it? I don't get it. This thing. Okay, here we go. Sorry about that. Now I'm ready. Matthew chapter 25. The kingdom of heaven at that time will be like 10 bridesmaids who took their lamps and went out to meet the groom. 5 of them were foolish and 5 were sensible. The foolish ones took lamps with them, but no oil, whereas the others took flasks of oil with their lamps. Now the bridegroom was late, so they all went to sleep. Wait. It was... Okay. Now the bridegroom was late, so they all went to sleep. It was the middle of the night when the cry rang out, "The bridegroom is here, go out to meet him." The girls all woke up and prepared their lamps for lighting. The foolish ones said to the sensible ones, "Give us some of your oil, because our lamps are going out." No, they replied, "There may not be enough for both you and us. Go to the oil dealers and buy some for yourselves." But as they were going off to buy, the bridegroom came. Those who were ready went with him to the wedding feast, and the door was shut. Later the other bridesmaids came. "Sir, sir," they cried, "let us in." But he answered, "Indeed, I tell you, I don't know you. So stay alert, because you know neither the day nor the hour. For it will be like a man about to leave home for a while, who entrusted his possessions to his servants. To one he gave 5 talents, to another 2 talents, and to another 1 talent, to each according to his ability. Then he left. The one who had received 5 talents immediately went out, invested it, and earned another 5. Similarly, the one given 2 earned another 2. But the one given 1 talent went off, dug a hole in the ground, and hid his master's money. After a long time, the master of those servants returned to settle accounts with them. The one who had received 5 talents came forward, bringing the other 5, and said, "Sir, you gave me 5 talents. Here, I have made 5 more." His master said to him, "Excellent, you are a good and trustworthy servant. You have been faithful with a small amount, so I will put you in charge of a large amount. Come and join in your master's happiness." Also the one who had received 2 came forward and said, "Sir, you gave me 2 talents. Here, I have made 2 more." His master said to him, "Excellent, you are a good and trustworthy servant. You have been faithful with a small amount, so I will put you in charge of a large amount. Come and join in your master's happiness." Now the one who had received 1 talent came forward and said, "I knew you were a hard man. You harvest where you didn't plant, and gather you where you didn't sow seed. I was afraid, so I went and hid your talent in the ground. Here, take what belongs to you." "You wicked, lazy servant," said his master. "So you knew, did you, that I harvest where I haven't planted, and that I gather where I didn't sow seed? Then you should have deposited my money with the bankers, so that when I returned, I would at least have gotten back interest with my capital. Take the talent from him and give it to the one who has 10. For everyone who has something will be given more, so that he will have more than enough. But from anyone who has nothing, even what he does have will be taken away. As for this worthless servant, throw him out in the dark, where people will wail and grind their teeth. When the Son of Man comes in his glory, accompanied by all the angels, he will sit on his glorious throne. All the nations will be assembled before him, and he will separate people one from another, as a shepherd separates sheep from goats. The sheep he will place at his right hand, and the goats at his left. Then the king will say to those on his right, "Come, you whom my Father has blessed. Take your inheritance, the kingdom prepared for you from the founding of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you made me your guest. I needed clothes, and you provided them. I was sick, and you took care of me. I was in prison, and you visited me. Then the people who have done what God wants will reply, Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger and make you our guest, or needing clothes and provide them? When did we see you sick or in prison and visit you? The king will say to them, Yes, I tell you that whenever you did these things for one of the least important of these brothers of mine, you did them for me. Then he will also speak to those on his left, saying, Get away from me, you who are cursed. Go off into the fire, prepare for the adversary and his angels. For I was hungry, and you gave me no food, thirsty, and you gave me nothing to drink, a stranger, and you did not welcome me, needing clothes, and you did not give them to me, sick and in prison, and you did not visit me. Then they too will reply, Lord, when did we see you hungry, thirsty, a stranger, needing clothes, sick or in prison, and not take care of you? And he will answer them, Yes, I tell you that whenever you refuse to do it for the least important of these people, you refuse to do it for me. They will go off to eternal punishment, but those who have done what God wants will go to eternal life. Take a quick break. That was a good break. Okay. Matthew chapter 26. When Yah-Usha had finished speaking, he said to his Talmidim, As you know, Pesach is 2 days away, and the Son of Man will be handed over to be nailed to the execution stake. Then the head Kohanim and the elders of the people gathered in the palace of Caiaphas the Kohen Haggadah. They made plans to arrest Yah-Usha surreptitiously and have him put to death. But they said, Not during the festival, or the people will riot. Yah-Usha was in Beit Aniah at the time at the home of Shimeon, the man who had Zerat, a woman who had an alabaster jar filled with every expensive perfume, approached Yah-Usha while he was eating and began pouring it on his head. When the Talmidim saw it, they became very angry. Why this waste? They asked. This had been sold for a lot of money and given to the poor. But Yah-Usha, aware of what was going on, said to them, Why are you bothering this woman? She has done a beautiful thing for me. The poor you will always have with you, but you will not always have me. She poured this perfume on me to prepare my body for burial. Yes, I tell you that throughout the whole world, wherever this good news is proclaimed, what she has done will be told in her memory. Then one of the 12, the one called Yehudah from Keriot, went to the head Kohanim and said, What are you willing to give me if I turn Yah-Usha over to you? They counted out 30 silver coins and gave them to Yehudah. From then on, he looked for a good opportunity to betray him. On the first day for Matzah, the Talmidim came to Yah-Usha and asked, Where do you want us to prepare your seder? Going to the city to so and so, he replied, and tell him that the rabbi says, My time is near, my Talmidim and I are celebrating Pesach at your house. The Talmidim did as Yah-Usha directed and prepared the seder. When evening came, Yah-Usha reclined with the 12 Talmidim, and as they were eating, he said, Yes, I tell you that one of you is going to betray me. They became terribly upset and began asking him, one after the other, Lord, you don't mean me, do you? He answered, The one who dips his matzah in the dish with me is the one who will betray me. The Son of Man will die just as the Tanakh says he will. But woe to that man by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. It would have been better for him had he never been born. Yehuda, the one who was betraying him, then asked, "Surely, Rabbi, you don't mean me?" He answered, "The words are yours." While they were eating, Yah-Usha took a piece of matzah, made the barakah, broke it, gave it to the Talmidim, and said, "Take, eat, this is my body." Also he took a cup of wine, made the barakah, and gave it to them, saying, "All of you drink from it, for this is my blood, which ratifies the new covenant, my blood shed on behalf of many, so that they may have their sins forgiven. I tell you, I will not drink this fruit of the vine again until the day I drink new wine with you in my Father's kingdom." After singing the Hallel, they went out to the Mount of Olives. Yah-Usha then said to them, "Tonight you will all lose faith in me, as the Tanakh says, I will strike the shepherd dead, and the sheep of the flock will be scattered. But after I have been raised, I will go ahead of you into the Galilee." "I will never lose faith in you," Kepha answered, "even if everyone else does." Yah-Usha said to him, "Yes, I tell you that tonight before the rooster crows, you will disown me 3 times. "Even if I must die with you," Kepha replied, "I will never disown you." And all the Talmidim said the same thing. Then Yah-Usha went with his Talmidim to a place called Gat Shemanim, and said to them, "Sit here while I go over there and pray." He took with him Kepha and Zabadiah's 2 sons. Grief and anguish came over him, and he said to them, "My heart is so filled with sadness that I could die. Remain here and stay awake with me." Going on a little farther, he fell on his face, praying, "My Father, if possible, let this cup pass from me, yet not what I want, but what you want." He returned to the Talmidim and found them sleeping. He said to Kepha, "Were you so weak that you couldn't stay awake with me for even an hour? Stay awake and pray that you will not be put to the test. The spirit indeed is eager, but human nature is weak." A second time he went off and prayed, "My Father, if this cup cannot pass away unless I drink it, let what you want be done." Again he returned and found them sleeping, their eyes were so heavy. Leaving them again, he went off and prayed a 3rd time, saying the same words. Then he came to the Talmidim and said, "For now, go on sleeping, take your rest. Look, the time has come for the Son of Man to be betrayed into the hands of sinners. Get up, let's go, here comes my betrayer." While Yah-Usha was still speaking, Yehuda, one of the 12, came, and with a large crowd carrying swords and clubs, from the head Kohanim and elders of the people. The betrayer had arranged to give them a signal. "The man I kissed is the one you want. Grab him." He went straight up to Yah-Usha, said, "Shalom, Rabbi," and kissed him. Yah-Usha said to him, "Friend, do what you came to do." Then they moved forward, laid hold of Yah-Usha, and arrested him. At that, one of the men with Yah-Usha reached for his sword, drew it out, and struck at the servant of the Kohen Hagadol, cutting off his ear. Yah-Usha said to him, "Put your sword back where it belongs, for everyone who uses the sword will die by the sword. Don't you know that I can ask my Father, and he will instantly provide more than 12 armies of angels to help me? But if I did that, how could the passages in the Tanakh be fulfilled that say it has to happen this way?" Then Yah-Usha addressed the crowd. "So you came out to take me with swords and clubs, the way you would the leader of a rebellion? Every day I sat in the temple court teaching, and you didn't seize me then. But all this has happened so that what the prophets wrote may be fulfilled." Then the Talmidim all deserted him and ran away. Those who had seized Yah-Usha led him off to Caiaphas, the Kohen Hagadol, where the Torah teachers and elders were assembled. Kepha followed him at a distance as far as the courtyard of the Kohen Hagadol. Then he went inside and sat down with the guards to see what the outcome would be. The head Kohanim and the whole Sanhedrin looked for some false evidence against Yah-Usha so that they might put him to death. But they didn't find any, even though many liars came forward to give testimony. At last, however, 2 people came forward and said, "This man said, 'I can tear down God's temple and build it again in 3 days.'" The Kohen Haggadah stood up and said, "Have you nothing to say to the accusation these men are making?" Yah-Usha remained silent. The Kohen Haggadah said to him, "I put you under oath by the living God. Tell us if you're the Mashiach, the Son of God." Yah-Usha said to him, "The words are your own, but I tell you that one day you will see the Son of Man sitting at the right hand of Ha-Geburah and coming on the clouds of heaven." At this the Kohen Haggadah tore his robes. "Blasphemy," he said. "Why do we still need witnesses? You heard him blaspheme. What is your verdict?" "Guilty," they answered. "He deserves death." Then they spit in his face and pounded him with their fists. And those who were beating him said, "Now, you Messiah, prophesy to us, who at that time?" Kepha was sitting outside in the courtyard when a servant girl came up to him. "You two were with Yah-Usha from the Galilee," she said. But he denied it in front of everyone. "I don't know what you're talking about." He ran out onto the porch, and another girl saw him and said to the people there, "This man was with Yah-Usha of Nazareth." Again he denied it, swearing, "I don't know the man." After a little while, the bystanders approached Kepha and said, you must be one of them. Your accent gives you away." This time he began to invoke a curse on himself as he swore, "I do not know the man." And immediately a rooster crowed. Kepha remembered what Yah-Usha had said, "Before the rooster crows, you will disown me 3 times." And he went outside and cried bitterly. I might need a little break. I think there's 2 more chapters, right? Yeah, because I do want to finish the chapter. I'm gonna take a quick break here, and then continue. Okay. Matthew chapter 27. Early in the morning, all the head Kohanim and elders met to plan how to bring about Yah-Usha's death. Then they put him in chains, led him away, and handed him over to Pilate the governor. When Yehuda, who had betrayed him so that Yah-Usha had been condemned, he was seized with remorse and returned the 30 silver coins to the head Kohanim and elders, saying, "I sinned in betraying an innocent man to death." "What is that to us?" they answered. "That's your problem." Hurling the pieces of silver into the sanctuary, he left. Then he went off and hanged himself. The head Kohanim took the silver coins and said, "It is prohibited to put this into the temple treasury because it is blood money." So they decided to use it to buy the potter's field as a cemetery for foreigners. This is how it came to be called the Field of Blood, a name it still bears. Then what Yirmeyahu the prophet spoke was fulfilled. And they took the 30 silver coins, which was the price the people of Israel had agreed to pay for him, and used them to buy the potter's field, just as the Lord directed me. Meanwhile, Yah-Usha was brought before the governor, and the governor put this question to him, "Are you the king of the Jews?" Yah-Usha answered, "The words are yours." But when he was accused by the head Kohanim and elders, he gave no answer. Then Pilate said to him, "Don't you hear all these charges they are making against you?" But to the governor's great amazement, he did not say a single word in reply to the accusations. It was the governor's custom during a festival to set free one prisoner, whomever the crowd asked for. There was at that time a notorious prisoner being held named Yah-Usha Bar Abba. So when a crowd had gathered, Pilate said to them, "Whom do you want me to set free for you, Bar Abba or Yah-Usha, called the Messiah?" For he understood that it was out of jealousy that they had handed him over. While he was sitting in court, his wife sent him a message. "Leave that innocent man alone. Today in a dream I've suffered terribly because of him." But the head Kohanim persuaded the crowd to ask for Bar Abba's release and to have Yah-Usha executed on the stake. "Which of the two do you want me to set free for you?" asked the governor. "Bar Abba," they answered. Pilate said to them, "Then what should I do with Yah-Usha called the Messiah?" They all said, "Put him to death on the stake. Put him to death on the stake." When he asked why, "What crime has he committed?" they shouted all the louder, "Put him to death on the stake." When Pilate saw that he was accomplishing nothing, but rather that a riot was starting, he took water, washed his hands in front of the crowd, and said, "My hands are clean of this man's blood. It's your responsibility." All the people answered, "His blood is on us and on our children." Then he released to them Bar Abba, but Yah-Usha, after having him whipped, he handed over to be executed on a stake. The governor's soldiers took Yah-Usha into the headquarters building, and the whole battalion gathered around him. They stripped off his clothes and put on him a scarlet robe, wove thorn branches into a crown and put it on his head, and put a stick in his right hand. Then they kneeled down in front of him and made fun of him. "Hail to the King of the Jews!" They spit on him and used the stick to beat him about the head. When they had finished ridiculing him, they took off the robe, took his own clothes back on him, and led him away to be nailed to the execution stake. As they were leaving, they met a man from Cyrene named Shimeon, and they forced him to carry Yah-Usha's execution stake. When they arrived at a place called Golgotha, which means place of a skull, they gave him wine mixed with bitter gall to drink. But after tasting it, he would not drink it. After they had nailed him to the stake, they divided his clothes among them by throwing dice. Then they sat down to keep watch over him there. Above his head they placed a written notice stating the charge against him. "This is Yah-Usha, the King of the Jews." Then 2 robbers were placed on execution stakes with him, one on the right and one on the left. People passing by hurled insults at him, shaking their heads, and saying, "So you can destroy the temple, can you, and rebuild it in 3 days? Save yourself if you are the Son of God, and come down from the stake." Likewise, the head Kohanim jeered at him, along with the Torah teachers and elders. "He saved others, but he can't save himself. So he's King of Israel, is he? Let him come down now from the stake, then we'll believe him. He trusted God, so let him rescue him if he wants him. After all, he did say, 'I'm the Son of God.'" Even the robbers nailed up with him insulted him in the same way. From noon until 3 o'clock in the afternoon, all the land was covered with darkness. At about 3, Yah-Usha uttered a loud cry, "Eli, Eli, lema sabachthani. My God, why have you deserted me?" On hearing this, some of the bystanders said, "He's calling for Eliyahu." Immediately one of them ran and took a sponge, soaked it in vinegar, put it on a stick and gave it to him to drink. The rest said, "Wait, let's see if Eliyahu comes and rescues him." But Yah-Usha, again crying out in a loud voice, yielded up his spirit. At that moment, the parapet in the temple was ripped in two from top to bottom, and there was an earthquake with rocks splitting apart. Also the graves were opened, and the bodies of many holy people who had died were raised to life. And after Yah-Usha rose, they came out of the graves and went into the holy city, where many people saw them. When the Roman officer and those with him who were keeping watch over Yah-Usha saw the earthquake and what was happening, they were awestruck and said, "He really was a son of God." There were many women there, looking on from a distance. They had followed Yah-Usha from the Galilee, helping him. Among them were Miriam from Magdala, Miriam the mother of Yaakov and Joseph, and the mother of Zebedee's sons. Towards evening, there came a wealthy man from Ramatayim, named Joseph, who was himself a Talmid of Yah-Usha. He approached Pilate and asked for Yah-Usha's body, and Pilate ordered it to be given to him. Joseph took the body, wrapped it in a clean linen sheet, and laid it in his own tomb, which he had recently had cut out of the rock. After rolling a large stone in front of the entrance to the tomb, he went away. Miriam of Magdala and the other Miriam stayed there, sitting opposite the grave. Next day, after the preparation, the head Kohanim and the Barushim went together to Pilate and said, "Sir, remember that deceiver said while he was still alive, 'After 3 days I will be raised.' Therefore order that the grave be made secure till the 3rd day. Otherwise the Talmidim may come, steal him away, and say to the people, 'He was raised from the dead.' And the last deception will be worse than the first." Pilate said to them, "You may have your guard. Go and make the grave as secure as you know how." So they went and made the grave secure by sealing the stone and putting the guard on watch. Okay, I think I'm just gonna finish here and read this tomorrow. Well, you know, it's really short. I'll finish it now. Matthew chapter 28. After Shabbat, as the next day was dawning, Miriam of Magdala and the other Miriam went to see the grave. Suddenly there was a violent earthquake, for an angel of Yahweh came down from heaven, rolled away the stone and sat on it. His appearance was like lightning, and his clothes were as white as snow. The guards were so terrified at him that they trembled and became like dead men. But the angel said to the women, "Don't be afraid. I know you're looking for Yah-Usha, who was executed on the stake. He's not here, because he has been raised, just as he said. Come and look at the place where he lay. Then go quickly and tell the Talmidim, he has been raised from the dead, and now he is going to the Galilee ahead of you. You will see him there. Now I have told you." So they left the tomb quickly, frightened yet filled with joy, and they ran to give the news to his Talmidim. Suddenly Yah-Usha met them and said, "Shalom." They came up and took hold of his feet as they fell down in front of him. Then Yah-Usha said to them, "Don't be afraid. Go and tell my brothers to go to the Galilee, and they will see me there." As they were going, some of the guards went into the city and reported to the head Kohanim everything that had happened. Then they met with the others, and after discussing the matter, they gave the soldiers a sizable sum of money, and said to them, "Tell people his Talmidim came during the night and stole his body while we were sleeping. If the governor hears of it, we will put things right with him and keep you from getting in trouble." The soldiers took the money and did as they were told, and the story has been spread about by Judeans till this very day. So the 11 Talmidim went to the hill in the Galilee where Yah-Usha had told them to go. When they saw him, they prostrated themselves before him, but some hesitated. Yah-Usha came and talked with them. He said, "All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Therefore go and make people from all nations into Talmidim, immersing them into the reality of the Father, the Son, and the Ruach HaKodesh, and teaching them to obey everything I have commanded you. And remember, I will be with you always, yes, even until the end of the age." Okay, so that's it. I'm gonna just fix the title. So tomorrow I'll start with Mark chapter 1. Yeah, I like reading the Bible. I mean, not like, you know, same thing over and over and over, but reading it as like a form of literature, especially nowadays. It's just fun, you know. So my recommendation for reading the Bible is start with Matthew and go, you know, all the way to finish the whole New Testament, finish Revelation, Matthew to Revelation, and then go to Genesis and finish to, um, Malachi, I think. Second Chronicles. That's the okay. There's a Malachi. I guess the orders were different in this. I used to read NIV, when I was younger. Alright, thank you very much. I'm gonna do ASMR pretty quickly. It's pretty late and I wanna. ASMR is really helping me, so I can't skip it. So I'm gonna do it. Thank you. Ameyn.